Hi guys and girls, and today you join me here at Shingle Street. I'm going to be after some rays and smooth hound. So two rods, one on a fishy bait, the other on crab and rag, maybe a mix of both. To the west here you might be able to see that the sun is setting, so this is an evening session. I'll do my utmost to make sure it's good quality video in regards to seeing anything we catch, fingers crossed. The high tide is at 10 to 4 tomorrow morning. So getting here, going to fish probably through a few really slow hours. Although I have had some good fish out of here on low tide. I had some decent cod out of here on low tide years ago, and it is a deep water venue. So, you know, nightfall, fish generally move closer, or so they say. Might be able to pull out a fish or two before that high tide. But I want to get down here nice and early, get prepared, get some casts in, get your eye in. It always helps, doesn't it? So fingers crossed. Right, well, if we get some fish, I'll be coming back to you. Okay, guys and girls, so I'm going to show you the rigs that I'm using. I'm using dropper pulley rigs. Let me show you the trace first of all. So this one I'm going to be putting out for the rays. So it's a 2-hook link, and all I've simply done is push one hook through, make sure that hook point shown, bit of a bait elastic, and simply, because I'm using the tail end, I've kept that one showing. So one hook points that way, one hook points that way. Typically I only really use one hook rigs really, but these ones are pre-made because I'm too lazy to make my own rigs. Right, so all we do is nice and easy. What I love about these dropper rigs, you've got these clips here. So what you can do is take the trace off very quickly, and then what I'll do throughout the session is between casts, I'll whip another trace up. I'll get whatever bait I'm using, and what I do as well is bring a bit of salmon oil, put it in a bit of a bait tub or similar, and let that next bait soak for ages. That will get all on the bait elastic. That will even sort of penetrate the bait to some degree. But that just gives me a bit more confidence that I'm just putting a scent trail out there. You know, it's nice, nice colour in the sea because of the 2 days of stormy weather we've probably had. But yeah, that just gives me personally a little bit more confidence. If you've never used a pulley rig, or a dropper pulley rig, shall I say, you fix it on with the long, with the breakaways, just like you would most rigs. So that goes on like so. And what you do is with your leader, you tie that on that piece. Sorry, I'm not very technical with sea fishing equipment. Now this is the fiddly bit because you'll have a swivel here that pulls free, and you want to clip that to this bit here, like so. So as you can imagine, that sits on there like that. Sorry, it's not the best. Just imagine that on there, and when it hits the water, that releases, and what you end up doing is this whole long bit of trace is going to be on the bottom. That's where you want to be for the rays and the smooth hounds and bottom feeding fish. You can get quite a distance with these as well. They're long distance. But yeah, you're not up in the water, maybe attracting bass and smaller fish. You're going to be on that bottom. So let me set this up properly, get it out, and see if it produces a ray. Off the mark already, first cast on the rag. It's nailed that. On my spod rod, little female ray, little thornback. Look at that, absolutely stunning fish. Beautiful colours, you can imagine on that gravelly bottom how that is super camouflaged. Beautiful fish, hope that you can see that okay. Yeah, tiny, flew my spod rod over, which I've actually set up for smooth hounds. So if I get a smooth hound or a bigger ray, I'm not going to know about it. But look at that, beautiful, what a start. First cast on the rag. Let's get him back, see if we can get another. Oh, the rag rod just banged again. Could it be another ray? soon as it gets dark, it's amazing. I had it before here where last year I was ray fishing. I think I had 6, one which was a real decent fish, and I weren't sure about weights of rays at the time, but looking at other people's, I dare say it was sort of £7-ish. But I didn't have my scales. I got my scales today here, ladies and gents. So if we get anything half decent, certainly we'll be weighing it so I can claim a PB of that species. So that was a nice bang on the rag, but nothing has followed on as yet. I'm surprised. Fish usually rule supreme here for the rays. It goes to show if you're fishing the wrong bait, you know, they're not too far apart, then rods, and they're around the same distance. It just goes to show, doesn't it, that they can be quite selective sometimes. And I remember once I was fishing big chunks of fish, and then I tried small sort of slivers, you know, really banded it up, making like a sort of fish sausage, and that was getting bites, but you know, sort of chunks of fish as it were. I suppose more oils get released into the water if you mash it up and, you know, band it up. Perhaps that's the logic, I'm not sure, but it's amazing. We all know freshwater fish can be very finicky, carp in particular, but you wouldn't have thought saltwater fish necessarily would, but so far it seems to be the rag what they want. Is it going to materialise? Doesn't look like it. For people new to ray fishing, you usually get some sort of subtle bites, and then it'll just start banging. I mean, I wish I had the video on record with that last fish, because that was killed over on that spod rod. I have got normal sea rods, ladies and gents, some 14 footers, really stiff ones, but didn't enjoy them. Didn't enjoy the fish on them at all. The smooth hound that you may have seen on a short video that I had last year off here, it was a bit, although I was elated that I caught a smooth hound, which I tried for many sessions to get one, it was a bit of an anticlimax because I was reeling it in like it was a ray. There was no fight whatsoever, and that's partly because I feel 14-foot stiff competition rod, and I'd much prefer to have a bit of a hairier fight. What about you, ladies and gents? Would you rather a stiffer rod, maybe be able to get a few extra yards, or would you rather a lighter rod and really enjoy each fish you have? I must admit, I'm kind of crapping it, for want of a better term, if I do get something big on that rod, because even that small ray felt, you know, a good fish. But nonetheless, that'll be good fun. The beauty about fishing here at Shingle Street, unless you're after the cod in winter, when really you need to get on the edge of the tide run in the middle, is that you don't need to be fishing at a vast length to get the smooth hounds and rays. In my experience anyway, 60 yards is ample, because it's a nice deep water venue here. This is the bay of Shingle Street rather than what I call the tidal river, you know, the really fast flowing bit. It's a nice bowl here, and I always walk up to the middle. A lot of people decide to fish closest to the car park, probably freeze, but no, I find the best fishing is up here, right in the middle of the bay. A bit of extra trek. I can understand why people don't want to do it, but in my opinion, again, it's worth just going that little, pushing yourself a little bit more, that little bit more of a walk. Some people do well in the sort of river part, as I'd call it, you know, the tidal bit, but it's very clay, very muddy, and you'll lose a bit of gear. Here it's nice clean shingle. Never, rarely have I snagged up here, which is a good thing, right? You don't want to be losing gear. Like I say, nice close fishing. You can easily get there with your sort of stiff carp rods, sort of 3.5, 4s. easily get to where you need to be, unless you want to get the cod and you need to get on the edge of the tide. But the fast flow really. Saying that though, I have had some real decent cod in rough weather, very close. But like most cod marks around the UK, that's a bit of a thing of the past. But nonetheless, guys and girls, subscribe. I will be trying cod in the winter here. I'm sure it does throw up one or two on the right conditions. So I'll freeze my nuts off to try and show you one or two. Oh, on the rag again. Oh, that's... He's still there? Yeah, he's got... Here we go, I think it's ray number 2. Wow, second cast on the rag. Blimey. I probably won't be here till 3 if it carries on like this, run out of bait. Well guys, if you didn't see that bite, I reckon you'd have thought I'd caught the same fish. So another small ray, another female. Wow, okay. I wonder if it's the same fish. It'd be bizarre, I suppose, but not impossible. Nailed it in the corner of its mouth once again. There you go, nice and easy. Look at that. Gorgeous, absolutely beautiful fish, these. Real good fun on light tackle as well. Beautiful colours. Thornbacks, because obviously, if anyone have never caught one, the thorns on their backs. Let's get it back, see if we can get some more. Nice. Guys, I don't know what's happened here, but I've just literally chucked that rag one out, and I thought I'm going to change this fish bait to a more of a fillet base, and picked it up and there's a ray on there. So number 3. Been here about an hour and a half. Okay guys, ray number 3. Would you look at that? About the same size again. Crazy. Or razy, should I say. Pardon the pun. Again, hooked in that side of the mouth, right in the scissors. There we are. Another stunning little thornback. hopefully they start getting a little bit bigger. But if they don't, I don't really care. Beautiful fish again. Lovely patterns. Like I say, I was just about to change the fish on it for more of a banded sort of fillet, and then pick the rod up, and that was away. Didn't even know it was on there. I love dropper pulley rigs for that reason. They hook themselves, plenty of loose line, especially when the tide's going out. You can imagine that central pulling, that nice, that nice presentation is probably what I'm looking for. But yeah, guys, it's like an hour and a half in, 3 rays, can't moan. Let's get it back, get the rod out again. Let's go and walk down that beach. Well guys, that was a mad little spell. Got some stars out now, which is quite nice. I know you can't see that on this video, unfortunately. Quite clear now. Like I said, it's probably 2 hours since I arrived. Nice and dark now. Lovely. I'm gonna put some crab out, probably in about an hour. Start putting the crab out. Is that right, Rod? Rattling again? What you tend to find is rays will rattle a little bit before they start lunging. That did look like it was rattling again. Yeah, anyway, I want that water out of that tidal part to be quite low before I put some crab out, because I think that the smooth hounds do love it around there. It's really muddy, loads of little nooks and crannies for them to grab around in, and I think they'll wash into here. I think that'll probably be better to wait an hour to start using the crab. I haven't bought a lot of crab tonight, so that's why I'm a bit hesitant. As much as I love catching rays, I'd rather know that perhaps the ray fishing is slow as well before I start putting the crab out, because I've got probably 6 casts. I will leave one on a fish bait, I'll put one, probably crab and rag cocktail, make a nice sausage, because people have been catching smoothhound here on rag, and I might even leave one, depending on how these rays go now. I might put one on just purely rag as well, perhaps, because that'd really top it off now. It'd be lovely to have 1 or 2 more rays, of course, but to have a few smoothhounds, to have a run of smoothhounds, that would really top the session off. I'm desperate to catch a smoothhound. I've had like 4 blanks now on smoothhounds. I fished Holland on Sea. I fished further up here on East Lane at Bordsey. Nothing. It's been totally dead for me. So it's actually refreshing to come sea fishing, after 3 or 4 blanks, and to have a good succession of fish straight off the bat. That's fishing, right? Sometimes fish will be in front of you, sometimes they won't. I'm pretty confident every time I fish this swim, or this mark, if you want to call it, this particular spot where I am, that I rarely blank here with fish. I mean, the whiting in September, November, it's just, I personally, and each their own, don't find whiting fishing that enjoyable, personally. It's a bit much the same, do you know what I mean? It's a bit samey. At least with the ray, they give a good bend in the rod. They will lunge you around. They will stick whole bottom sometimes. They give you a bit of variety. I mean, that first one was really, I would have thought that was 3 times the size, whereas the others haven't felt as big, even though they're the same size. So, yeah. That's everyone's preference. We all like different things, right? I love variety in my fishing, as you've probably seen if you're a regular visitor to my channel. I do all sorts, but for me, whiting fishing, it's a bit samey. Keep chucking it out, come back in, reeling in, same sort of size fish. But yeah, each their own. Some people love doing it and bagging up just to say I had 80 fish in a night. That's good on you, if that's you. Kudos to you. But no, me personally, I prefer these sort of bigger species. Let's hope tonight, though, if this run keeps going, we'll show you a bit bigger fish. But if I caught no further fish tonight, I would be going home with a massive smile on my face. And that's what it's all about, right? But we have got so many hours left on this video that dare I say, touch wood, there's no wood, that we should see a fish, fish or two more, especially if I fish up to the next high tide. You'd expect a couple of hours before that high tide to have another run of fish, even if it goes quiet now for the remainder until that point. Looks like, looking down the beach, there's a few anglers here tonight. Looks like the odd person's having the odd fish. But, I've read forums on here and I know people have been getting a good amount of ray each time they go at the moment. They're really quite prolific here at the moment, which is nice to see. And it's nice to see small fish like that because it shows successful breeding, and that's only a good thing, right? One thing I might try and do is get back on the Essex coast. Never caught a stingray. Might try and venture for one of them. 2 rods, fish baits, rag as well by the looks of it, and try and get myself a stingray before the season ends. That'd be a cool fish to get, to tick off the list and for the video as well. But anyway, seems like it's gone slightly quiet. I might check that rag because I had been messing around with the other rod. Rag's a bit more delicate. Someone could have had a go at it and I wouldn't have known. Might try that in 10 minutes. Alright, just checked the left rod. And I thought, I reckon that rag's gone. That was totally stripped off. So this time I've gone for a small section of rag just to cover the bottom hook and a little bit of blue, banded it all up tight nicely. That ebb tide is really pulling now. It's really pulling. Might have to up my leads to 4 ounce. I'm on 2 ounce at the minute. They're holding, they're just very pulled over. But the beauty of that is, what I love is the scent trail that's going to be pulling off them baits, the presentation once again. And if you get a ray, it's going to give you an even better bite now. Technically, it's going to probably whack over. But let's see if you can see it. Doesn't look the same. But that dot there, absolutely amazing. Moon coming up, very orange. Half moon coming up there. Get this stand to set up properly again. What an amateur. There we go. Stop making you all sick. Hopefully the smooth hounds might make an appearance. I will try crab baits in about an hour. Just see if we can get anything that way. So perhaps, depending on how many more rays I get in a minute. They seem to have quietened off though. So perhaps they've moved in and out, they've gone. I might put one on rag, one on crab and rag, perhaps. Just try different things. Yeah, apologies if you don't really like looking at just a couple of little night tops. I would put my light on, but I don't really want to pee anyone else off. Although I'm not fishing right close to anyone, I wouldn't like it if someone had a blaring light shining at me. So at least what you've seen, you can see the bites, and I'll obviously show you the fish if we get any more. So treat this moment as one of them tranquil relaxation videos. Not the sound of my voice, ladies and gents, but the sound of them waves. Absolutely gorgeous. Slight westerly wind, so off the beach. Yeah, lovely conditions tonight. Oh, that left rod again. Bang, bang. Yeah, we're in. Yep, another ray. This one's swimming for me. Or have I lost it? No, it's still there. The last couple of rays have swam, just kept swimming towards me. Get a bit of light on the subject. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, guys and girls, but ray number 4, about the same size again. Really small stamp fish so far. And if anyone would have thought, they'd probably think, you're all having me on, aren't you? This is the same fish. Might be the same fish, but certainly keep not the same. Do you know what I mean? It's a different cast. There you go. Just shine the light like that, rather than changing it over. Beautiful fish once again. Let's get her back. Okay, guys, a little change. The rod closest that hasn't had the ray action, or very little ray action, I've put on crab now, just pure crab. Half a shell crab, wrapped it up, bait elastic. Yeah, just see if there's any smoothies around. And then the left one's still on that rag and fish. Haven't got much crab, I've only got 3, which is silly. I was meant to get some hermit. Totally forgot. Whoops. So I'm trying to put a little crab out there just in case the rays are well on that as well. If they don't seem to be on it, I will bulk that up and then perhaps just leave it for a longer time. But just want to test it with a smaller piece at the moment. If it's untouched, great, that's great news. That means I can put a larger, a better amount, a better bait size, should I say, sorry, out there, and just perhaps leave it and then wait on that one. I was debating whether to do a bit of a rag cocktail because, as I think I mentioned earlier before, there's been a few smooth hounds caught on rag here, but with the rays currently, or have been, loving the rag, you know, I don't want to waste that crab bait if crab is something that they will leave alone. Do you know what I mean? So I can wait for a smoothie, for a hound. I was wanted to check my rag and fish bait and I thought there's something on there. Look at that tiny ray. Absolutely. They're getting smaller, guys. What's going on? Look at that. Absolutely tiny. What they call it, perfection in miniature. I thought there's something on here, but I don't think it's a ray. Thought maybe small bass or something. Yeah. Look at that. Absolutely tiny. Well, guys, there's me saying I don't enjoy whiting fishing. Let me get this off. And it's not quite white in season yet. But look at the size of that for a whiting. I dare say that's the biggest whiting I've ever had. I know I'm putting it up to the camera a little bit. I hope you can see that. That is a good size whiting, right? I hope now I'm not going to get pestered by these. But it was just one bang on the rod. He's took that all right. I dare say that's probably edible size. It's really hammered that. Look at that. Well, you come Thornback ray fishing, and then you end up with what I class as a specimen whiting. If anyone's a whiting expert, that's what up to there on me. So, what? Hate to be a typical bloke, but 10 inches, 12 inches. Let me know your thoughts. I'm not, you know, a whiting expert, but I'm going to put it back nonetheless. New bait. That's what I mean. You can take these off. Simple swivel, simple clip. rebait whilst you're waiting for a bite. Get a bait straight back out there. And please, fish gods, if you're out there, let that be the only whiting of the night. As ungrateful as that sounds, I know when whiting move in, they usually move in numbers. So, fingers crossed that was just a white herring, as it were. Nonetheless, what a cracking white. Well guys, just put that whiting back, cast like that new bait that I just showed you, and another small ray. About the same size as many of them tonight. They're not getting much bigger, although that is bigger than the last one I had, which was a tiny fish. Nonetheless, good fun, excellent fun. If you've never tried it, get down. They're around all year, but predominantly in the summer. They're more active and closer to the shore, so get down to a beach like this. I think this is number 6, 5, 6 or 7, one or the other. I've lost count now. Not that I've had tons, but in the few hours that I've been here, it's certainly been productive. So, as always, let's get this one back. Well, it's 3:30, guys. Literally just put everything in my bucket. Freezing cold, haven't had a proper bite in ages. And then this just pinged across. Another ray, perhaps arguably slightly bigger than what I've been having. Very finicky bite though. I didn't wait for it to whack, I just hit into it. Yeah, lovely Thornback. So like I said, I was just starting to pack up. I did hope that was something else because that was pounding a bit more. I was kind of hoping that was a smooth hound. But nonetheless, very grateful. So beautiful. So I think that's 6 or 7 Thornback rays, all very small. I will give it one more chuck because there's a little bit of rag left in my bucket. See if we can get something a bit bigger before we go. But it's been a great session. If that's the last one, let's get it back and just see if we can get one more. Well, guys and girls, it's 4:20 in the morning. That's a trek across that beach. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you've never tried ray fishing before, and perhaps you've never even tried sea fishing, if you've got some old carp gear, give it a shot. It's great fun. I was lucky enough to bag quite a few, even though there was a spell of a couple of hours when nothing much was happening. But for me, well, stay tuned because I've got some more fishing adventures coming up. Not sure what I want to do next. I might even try some wrasse fishing. Never tried that before. Or I might even get the still water gear out and go for some tench. So keep tuned. For now, tight lines and thanks for stopping by.